Gihan, just over to you. With the tourism sector showing promising trends, I mean, it's definitely encouraging to see the numbers that we just looked at. We can't also forget the fact that the industry is, there are shocks that can happen and we need to be prepared for. How do players such as JKH see the industry in the medium term, 2025 to medium term? And do things like international expansion, moving into other sectors, geographies, would those things also sort of come into the mix?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me on this panel. In terms of tourism and potential, I think whilst we've seen a recovery and we've achieved just over 2 million for the last calendar year, I think as we've said consistently over the many years, I think Sri Lanka is yet to really fulfill its potential in terms of tourism. It's one of the lowest hanging fruit. It's one of the easiest ones to sort of move the needle, and it has a significant multiplier effect. So we all know that, but if you really look at it, I mean, I saw the target that was put out here, or estimate forecast for 2025 being 2.5 million. But I think the potential is even far, far greater than that. And there's not a whole lot we need to actually do to achieve this. I mean, it's a lot of things I'm sure all of you all have heard many times before. But as a country, we are still to launch a proper destination marketing campaign, which has been lacking for many years. It's 15 years plus since the end of the conflict. And we haven't really had one single destination marketing campaign to promote the country. We were just about to before the pandemic, but then, of course, that wasn't the timing. So I think that's an imperative. We really have to go out there and create a lot more awareness. As a country, we are fortunate that lots of travel sites, blogs, websites have ranked Sri Lanka as, the top 10 destinations to be visited and so on. I think just today there was something I saw on BBC where we are the 9th destination in the world that's recommended. So we have a lot going for us, but I don't think we have helped our cause as much as we can in terms of having a sort of targeted destination marketing campaign in some of the key areas. I think closer to home and John Keells itself, I think in terms of tourism and what we can do for the country, we launched now City of Dreams and Cinnamon Life just a couple of months ago. We're seeing good traction. It's early days, but the type of feedback we are getting once we've opened and once we have done a lot of pre-marketing and conferences and events, I think nothing like having a proof of the pudding in terms of being able to showcase the property itself. And we're having very positive feedback and reviews from, say, travel agents and particularly agents who represent MICE, that's conferences, incentive travel, and so on. So there's a little bit of time that one needs to sort of get traction on these things. But whilst we focus on tourism as a whole and look at all the diverse offerings that the country has, we also need to develop the city tourism aspect of the country. So if you look at other countries, like whether it's Thailand, whether it's Malaysia, Singapore, of course, is a city-based country. But if you look at all these other countries, the city tourism also plays a significant role in terms of bringing tourists into the country. So for us, when we looked at this and the vision of Cinnamon Life 10 years plus ago, that was part of it in terms of not just attracting people to come into the wonderful attractions that we have in the country. Yes, that's certainly there, but also having people have a reason to come and visit and stay in Colombo. And that's where you can also get scale. Whilst you have wonderful attractions like a Sigiriya or Ayala Park, there's only so many people that you can cater in one of these locations before it gets overcrowded. So you need to focus on all the diversity of the offerings we have and also focusing on Colombo. So I think those are some of the areas that we believe will be catalysts to really drive and create demand apart from the destination marketing and awareness creation that we spoke of. If I can just take maybe another minute.
Sure.
If you look at the way outbound travel out of China grew maybe 15 years ago and sort of exponentially grew over the last many years till the onset of the pandemic. India is where China was maybe 15 years ago in terms of tourism and outbound travel. And everyone talks of, tourism being sort of the decade of India being ahead of us. And Sri Lanka is so well capitalized to ride that opportunity. So if you look at outbound travel out of China, 100 million plus outbound travel, India is still lagging in that context. And with the sort of growth that India has seen, I think that is our biggest opportunity. So there are a couple of things that need to be worked on: improving connectivity, reducing the cost of connectivity into Sri Lanka. But these are largely still solvable issues that are within our control as a country. And if we do that, I think tourism can take off. To your last question about John Keells, I think yes, we have diversified our portfolio by having some presence in the Maldives, but really our sort of larger plays in Sri Lanka. Yes, we are exposed to the vulnerabilities of Sri Lanka, but hopefully we are looking at a far more stable country and, like I said before, be able to ride that wave of the tourism growth.